We had no audio there. Apologies. We are back. Um,
Hey,
but joined by Falendrith. Falendrith, how you doing there?
hey, doing good? And you?
Um, so we have Waifu Warriors versus VGTC Dad Bod. First map gonna be Cursed Hollow. Second map gonna be Dragonshire. Pretty macro heavy. Right out of the gate, we're seeing the Phoenix ban. Phoenix is allowed this week, even though it's within 2 weeks of his release, because all week one games played with the same hero pool.
hmm Yeah, it's a
So,
pretty standard ban you see all the time recently. It just does so much damage for, how safe you can be when he
mm-hmm.
plays.
And I think it's interesting that Waifu Warriors is banning him, even though they had first ban. You've been seeing a lot more with second ban, kind of forcing the other
hmm
team to ban Phoenix, otherwise give it away. That suggests they maybe haven't practiced it, but it's going to be the standard Hero League bans of Phoenix and Maiev. Both these teams, though, new to Nexus Gaming Series, so we really don't know what to expect. There's no history. These are Division D teams, and that's set based on their MMR, kind of based on how much they play on these accounts, based on HOTS logs. But there can be occasionally some inaccuracies with HOTS logs, so we'll see. On paper, it looked like Waifu Warriors had a bit higher MMR. But, neither teams had a ton of games logged, so it suggests that maybe they're not actively using HOTS logs, which means the
Mm.
number's not necessarily accurate. But it's going to be a Blaze first pick. High priority onto the Blaze. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's a very, mean, typically you don't see that too much, at least in the games that I've been playing recently in Unranked Draft. But Blaze has a lot of sustain, a lot of zone control around the tributes for this map. So either it's a comfort pick or it's something that they think has had success on Cursed Hall. Again, yeah, we don't have like any data on these
Yeah.
teams, so this is kind of Cursed Hall is actually a pretty nice map to kind of like just kind of feel out the other team. It's a very standard map, a very
Ooh.
large map.
As soon as I see Morales Sylvanas, though, I think one thing. Past the Gouda, we might be in for some cheese.
We might be. I
Um,
think didn't I think one of the earlier games ran a similar strat if
yeah,
I was reading
yesterday,
the
the
chat
first
correctly.
game of Season 4 was Juice Pirates.
Yeah, the
Um,
cheese is
I,
alive in
I
Division
don't
D.
think this is Juice Pirates. Not on Cursed Hollow. It
Maybe.
might be.
That's
But
a
if I
lot of
had
lane
to
pushes right now
guess,
though.
it would be something more akin to like a Vikings comp or someone else double soaking
hmm hmm
while you four-man push bottom. So I would expect to see something like a high siege damage hero that can heal a lot, deal with burst
hmm
mitigation as they get dove. A hammer seems possible.
It does.
That's if we go the cheese route. We'll have to see what Waifu counters with. Diablo Falstad. Now, I did look a bit into Waifu, and I saw that Flame Tree 357 was seemed to be their tank player.
hmm
Put a lot of priority on Diablo, and Diablo's in a good place. And I actually really like him into the Morales. It forces an
Do yeah.
engage where Morales wants to be able to poke someone off. It becomes very hard to do it with the grenade after the flip occurs.
hmm
So I think it's a good choice here. And then Falstad having that global and having that gust could be critical if in fact we are seeing some kind of cheese. If you can disengage the enemy team off the cheese with the gust, it's going to be really hard for them to get value with it.
And objective wise, that's a lot of control as well. Diablo does really well in those tight corridors near the tributes. There's tons of walls to slam people into. And if they try to pick a fight with Blaze and Diablo inside of that tribute area, they're gonna have a really bad time.
Targeting the Stukov. Now, I actually looked, again, a bit into Waifu. I was able to get a bit more. Wheezy Fish seems to have been working quite a bit on the Stukov. It's a very strong support, so I like that ban. Meanwhile, I love this
Serial
Tyrael
ban.
ban.
Yeah.
Just not having anything to do with it. This is a team that they watched NGS last night. They watched the
hmm
chat this morning, and they saw Juice Pirates. They're seeing the makings of Juice Pirates, and they want nothing to do with Juice Pirates.
Yep. Be interesting to
But
see
you
what
can
they pick up.
still you can still run a cheese comp with this around the Vikings. Again, you need typically something like a Zarya and then an auto attack damage dealer, and it could still
hmm
work. Although they actually don't need Zarya with the Sylvanas, so they could just get something like Joanna.
Yeah, Johanna would be good.
You'd
Definitely
certainly be able
gives
to
a lot of.
protect
Yep.
the back line a bit better.
A lot more peel, a lot more ability to get out of the CC that Diablo and Blaze are putting down.
Again, this is suggesting cheese, but dipping quite a bit into this draft clock now. There's the Raynor Greymane. So a lot of auto attack damage, and
hmm
if they have it in their pool, now would be a great time to break out Cassia, I think.
Cassia, yeah, I could even see them going into a Lily with how much auto attack they have on that team. And yeah, there it is.
I don't want to see a Lily because I don't like Lily. I'm very happy
A
to
little
see the
redundant.
Malfurion.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Lily's a good enough healer to deal with all the damage potential that could come out. Because as many problems as Raynor has, and he has a lot, he can still really easily out damage Lily's single target healing, and just with a good flank could force an early 1,000 cups. So I like the Malfurion pick. You have that AoE potential. I love the Cassia pick. I actually really like this draft out of Waifu Warriors.
I really do too. They have a very solid draft for, controlling the objectives specifically on this map.
Yeah, a lot of poke potential. You have the Moonfire, you have Diablo, you have Faustad who can poke in. Blaze can, throw the oil slick out and light it on fire. So they can stall an objective if they want Faustad to be able to get value and then global in.
Yeah, they have a lot of sustain on their team too. Cassia can get self-healing at later levels. Malfurion's gonna be able to keep regrowth up basically constantly.
Yeah. I and there's Zarya.
Interesting.
So okay, this definitely looks cheesish. This
Yep.
looks cheesy. This there's probably gonna be some cheese. My guess is Greymane is gonna be responsible for double soaking early.
I think so, yeah.
Raynor can do good structural damage, so
Yep. No, they definitely have a lot of siege potential.
but I
It's
think
just
they were really thrown off by the Tyrael ban because they
yeah.
really dipped into that clock, and now I don't know how they stay on. I love this draft. The draft was played so well by Waifu Warriors, but now the game is not played in draft. The game is played on Cursed Hollow. Looking forward to this map. It's gonna be interesting to see. Does season 4 become the season of the cheese,
I
or
hope so.
or do we see the righteous forces of traditional play win out? Praise be.
I'm always for seeing, cheese and, maybe alternative strategies you might call them come
Yeah.
out. Makes the games a lot more fun.
All right. So, with that, you also have, honestly, combustion may be the choice if you're really worried about the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go ahead and jump in to map number 1. Here we go, Waifu Warriors versus VGTC Dadbod. On the left side, we're going to have Wheezyfish123. It is pronounced Wheezy on the website. It's Wezzy here. I'm going to say Wheezy on Blaze. We're going to have Biren1 on Malfurion. Flametree357 going to be playing Diablo. Sea Park's going to be on Cassia. And Hentai Master going to be on Faustad. Go ahead and introduce on the right side for us the members of VGTC Dadbods.
All right, on the right side, we have Murphy playing Sylvanas, Banana Man 321 playing Greymane, Bloody Regime on Lieutenant Morales, Nialas on Raynor, and Orlob on Zarya.
All right. And
they're
already
immediately moving to the top here.
They are immediately moving to the top. I like that they have everyone scouting. Oh, and they just saw Sylvanas.
Yeah,
so that early lane
out.
pressure. Not going to be there. Interesting, though. Sylvanas staying top while the rest of the team moves bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to keep anyone in mid? Or if they use Sylvanas as a solo laner... No, it doesn't look like they're going that way.
Nope.
Not immediately trying to force cheese, but it
Yeah.
could come online later in the game. We'll kind of keep an eye on it.
It looks like that early scouting basically forced them into standard laning. They couldn't quickly push down a tower because both teams happened to be in the same top lane. So now, we'll see how they do in a standard, lane matchup.
Yeah, and meanwhile, it's going to be 1-3-1 for both teams at the moment. Now, siege camps do come up. Let's see if either team sends someone away to deal with it. But right now you have Sylvanas Blaze. Sylvanas loses that matchup pretty early. Could potentially catch up with some of the talents that come online and boost wave clear. Raynor holding his own against Faustad, but just doesn't have the AoE damage, but able to poke Hentai Master a bit and does have that self-sustain. We'll have to keep
we
an
have
eye on that.
Malfurion and Cassia going over to take their siege giant camp.
Yeah, no one on Dadbod rotating for their camp at the moment.
Nope.
But that
might want to soon.
Yeah, and especially with Greymane, you definitely want him to get on one of these camps. Now, I have seen in HGC a move away from Siege Bruiser and a move toward Bruiser Siege. And the reason for that is that, especially if you see the icon here in the bottom, you actually want to take your Siege as late as possible so it gets the most value. Because Greymane can come up top and just clear this Siege now. Now, it's interesting they're having Greymane in lane and Sylvanas on camp, but yeah, we'll see how it works out.
Yep. Have a slight, ever so slight XP lead for our blue team here.
Yeah.
It's mostly coming from lane minions. I think that, you know, the false head was already in bottom lane when they were reacting, so they got a very slight, you know, extra 1 or 2 waves from that.
Yep. Meanwhile, though, it's going to be Greymane having to deal with the siege camp before he can rotate down. Now, when you have a Zarya, you can poke the point for a long time, but the problem is there's almost no CC at all. Oh, and Greymane is in a lot of trouble. Banana Man going to have to back behind the wall. That's going to let Wheezy Fish mount up for free and start rotating while Banana Man has to finish off this lane. Already, we're seeing a pretty good setup here and a pushing Bruiser camp here in the middle. So it's actually a very big macro advantage over to Waifu.
Yeah, it looks like Bods are not going to contest this and instead are going right up to the top lane.
Yep.
See Sylvanas is falling. Yep, they're going to just trade the tribute or pushing down the walls of the top lane.
They are moving on to the point. Are they going to try to go?
Are they going to backdoor this?
This is...
All right, they're going for it.
I do not like this approach angle at all.
This is extremely risky.
This is extremely risky because you have nowhere to run. Sylvanas can silence at most 2 structures at a time.
It is.
But it is a 5v3. Falstad is in the bottom, could fly up. Cassia, though, starting to come in. The fort has gone down, meanwhile, but now Nellis taking quite a bit of damage from C-Parks. Bloody Regime is in so much trouble. Diablo is just going to charge that medic, and that's going to be all she wrote for the medic. Medic goes down. Orlov not going to get out of that. Why did they approach from that angle?
Well, I mean, it like clearly, you know, got what they wanted. Only 2 deaths, you know, it could have been a lot worse for them.
But
you know,
the fort wall is worth a lot of experience, and you don't die taking it. And the thing is, they gave up soak in the other 2 lanes.
They did.
So they've lost a level of XP now, and they're losing the tribute.
It's not the worst. They still have, you know, it's 2 out of 3, so they'll have a chance to contest the next one as long as they're on the same talent tier.
They are on the same talent tier now. Now, looking at the talents, it is kind of some interesting choices here. The Prolonged Safeguard rather than maybe the Stun or the Slow, which can actually be pretty good against Blaze, but it is a bit more skill-intensive. Could be a comfort factor. Meanwhile, though, Falstad actually did go Gathering Storm, and he has... Unless that meter's broken, which there's so many things wrong with there's so many things wrong with the obs right now, I have no way of knowing. Yeah, but he also hasn't joined any fight. I would have on this map generally with Falstad, I would like to see kind of more of an auto attack focus, especially in the double warrior. But you know, it can make sense. It can get a lot of value if you do a lot of fighting. But already curse point here. Diablo set up very well. Blaze going to be a bit late. There's a face check by Zarya. If only she had some projectile that could check the bush safely. Now going to get stunned out by Diablo. Trying to run away. Down below 4 health. Going to go down. Nielis also running away. Nielis going to be able to escape. But once again, this is Waifu Warriors taking a big lead here.
Yeah, and
getting the curse.
Why you wanna, that's an example of why you definitely want to throw something into that bush before you walk up to it.
Man, it's too bad that Zarya just has no ability to poke check. Oh, wait. Anyway, gonna be moving into this fort. This is gonna be easily a very, very quick level 10 on the side of Waifu Warriors. And now we see Blaze moving top. Gonna be able to easily take out quite a bit of this wall. Doing quite a bit of damage, in fact, Sylvanas. Sylvanas having to, use her E to get out of that.
Yep,
I was about to say Wailing Arrow out of that. Wasn't that ability.
They have people in every lane, so they're getting the maximum value out of this curse.
Yep, maximum value out of the curse. Now, Falstad, actually, it wasn't... The meter is working. He has a stack of Gathering Storm. That value, though.
Congrats. they are starting the boss towards the end of this curse. It's interesting to note that the play for that top fort didn't get them nearly as much lane pressure as they wanted, because the walls were left up, and so the waves weren't pushing nearly as far as they hoped, I think.
Yeah, they actually only got one fort, but they are going to get the boss out of this. I think they could have actually.
Oh, Ouija's in a little bit too deep.
Ooh,
and he goes down.
Yeah, did actually go down there chasing Murphy a bit. I did miss that one. T-Tors, everyone. T-Tors in chat. But, still, with the boss coming in, they're going to take this top fort. And now level 10s, though, are picked up. And it is the medevac. It is Hyperion. Ooh, Murphy in a lot of trouble. Waiting for that E to come up. Does get scared off as the team shows up.
Oh,
so there is
on,
with top now with top fort down, they can actually just go straight to keep and try to core off it. They have the expulsion zone, so they could isolate someone here and get a kill. I'm just looking for win conditions. Ooh, but there's the Valkyrie, and well, that's why you don't see Raynor much anymore. No escape, as we saw there.
Wailing Arrow goes out, but doesn't have much of an effect.
Yeah, already a disengage, no real chance to follow up. Meanwhile, Falstad soaking the bot lane, working his team to level 13, and once you keep giving up these kind of deaths in these situations, it's really just going to make it difficult. But great synergy there with the Valkyrie into the root, into the APOC, just securing the kill on Raynor. Because against this kind of Juice Pirates cheese, all you have to do is just continuously secure one kill. You know what the other team's trying to do. You already see Falstad. He could fly and gust the enemy team away. Here comes the medevac. You're already seeing Falstad moving in.
They're going for that top keep.
Now, there is no sanctification, but they can silence the tower. Here comes Falstad, though, using the Mighty Gust. Hyperion coming out. There's the combustion, which is what I was hoping to see, just because of all the stack potential. And they are not going to get this keep. Just absolute deletion.
Yeah, they
about
just don't
half
have
the
enough
keep.
skill for that engage.
But now what you have to do is you have to get value. They're moving into a boss, and I don't like this. They could just... Well, no, I guess I do. Because by the time they walk to mid-keep... Yeah, the death timers are so short now that actually...
Boss is really the only option that they had because, their other team's already up. So
yeah. Other team is up. Medevac won't be up for a while, though. But at this point, I mean, level 13 talent advantage. They have a lot of potential. We'll kind of see. It looks like 5 stacks, so... Gonna move in towards maybe this curse token. It's hard to say. Or maybe they're just waiting on medevac to come up. They are kind of telegraphing their position, but they're potentially gonna let this boss free push on the bottom here. Let's see where it goes.
Giving up that, it looks like they're giving up that tribute and choosing instead to push with the boss in bottom lane.
Yep. Which, I mean, it's fair. Out. Oh, there's the medevac.
Yeah,
so now everyone backing already. Boss gonna soak up all those minion shots. So
looks like they will get that keep.
They will get the keep, and then they will... Oh no, the APOC Gust! Oh, the missed synergy, but still a huge 5-man max damage combustion. It is a keep down, but they're going to lose at least a keep here. Now you have to go mid or bottom, and you really, if you can get 2 keeps here in this time, which you totally can, you absolutely should do that.
Looks like they're moving towards the mid lane where they have that camp pushing. Yeah, I mean, that Gust APOC was poorly timed, but they didn't, they made it look like they didn't really need it in the end.
Well, they didn't. I mean, they're fighting in their base with a 5-man max damage combustion. Taking camps here. So this is something, playing against Juice Pirates, there's really one way you play against it. And it's you just keep your eye on the enemy team, you make sure that you get keeps when they get keeps, but above all, you pressure them. Right now, they need to make sure they have an eye on Morales. They need to know where her medevac is. Now, they are taking camps, and they're creating threat, but in that time where everyone was dead, they definitely could have taken a keep. So right now, despite everything on the map, there's actually only catapult advantage for the side of Dadbod.
Yeah, that's a great point. You're gonna have to constantly monitor that top lane as well. So that pushes in too far. That's an opening for Dadbot to just go right in and take the core while no one's watching.
Well, taking the core is another monster because Sylvanas can't silence it. So while they have a catapult advantage, it's hard for them to just walk in and take the core because they don't have that
That
sanctification.
was a nice knockback from our friend James Rayner, proving
They're
that
very,
he is useful for at least one thing.
yep. But I like what they're doing here. They're forcing Dad Bod to stay honest and defend. And with the talent tier advantage, they could just walk up and take this with the minions. And it looks like that's the direction it's going to go. Now, we don't know the heroic timers at the moment, but you got to watch. There's the Valkyrie. Going to catch Sylvanas. Ooh, but she gets actually saved by her own keep there. Meanwhile, though, turning onto the keep is Waifu Warriors. There's the big APOC. No one really following up, though, with Diablo. So Diablo blowing that APOC, not able to secure any kills. A little bit of a miscommunication. Keep is very low. Flame Tree down below 100 health, but is getting back up quickly. The Keep does indeed go down. This is Curse Point, but it looks like we're going to see an attempt to dive core.
Yeah, looks like it.
And Division D is becoming Division Medevac, apparently.
Yeah, there it goes.
And here it comes again, but guess what? Diablo saw it coming. Here's the Curse Point. They're going to dive for it. Everyone backing. They do have Diablo a bit isolated. They're starting to burn. Here comes the Combustion, though. They need to spread out. The Combustion and Twilight Dream hit 3. They're going to get about 50% off this core, though. And that's no small feat. But at this point, you have to go and end the game on bottom. You just have to go straight bottom and end the game. Because you have 50% on core, you know that they have enough damage, even if you have 5 people backed. Unless the Gust lands perfect, you are going to lose your core if they do it again. So you have to go bottom, and you have to end the game right now. Now, keep in mind, you can run through middle, too, actually. Because the keep is shut down, you can just run through middle onto the core. But now with all 5 members up, now their ultimates were all used, but with all 5 members up, there is going to be an attempt at a defense here. We'll have to see. There's a big expulsion zone, putting Falstad in a little bit of an awkward spot. Twilight Dream, Wailing Air, hitting Falstad. Murphy diving, trying to get the kill onto Cassie on C-Parks. C-Parks is taking the tower shots. Down below 100 health, going to get finished by the go for the throw from Greymane. Diablo flipping over Greymane. There's the Mighty Gust. The core is down to 60%, but 2 members down. Now Diablo is dead. He does at least have souls, but Falstad died, and he doesn't have Mighty Gust up. This could be devastating for the side of Waifu Warriors. The core is down to 30%, and Malfurion is the only one up in position to attack it, but the catapults are attacking the core. The catapults are on the core, down to 24%, down to 22%. The catapult does finally drop. They could medevac and end the game.
Yes, they could.
They have to do it quick, though, because catapults are pushing in 2 lanes, and that core has no shield at all.
It might have 2, yeah.
I don't want to see them. Okay, they are going to go for the end of the game, but how much time did it cost? Now with the medevac coming in, Mighty Gust will be up in 7 seconds, I assume. Although it was used late in that team fight, it may not be there. Here it comes. Here comes the medevac. Full defense at play. Big Malfurion root. There's the Fend, and it is destroying! Oh my goodness, C-Parks just destroyed every single member of the red team with that Fend. My goodness.
That was beautiful. Twilight Dream, all 5 of them rooted. Cassia blinded everyone and got all of the bonus damage off of that.
That is going to be the game. Not even going to need the heroes to come. These 2 catapults should finish. Fast Stag going to fly up, just throw the hammering out. And you know, it's a good thing you got those 10 stacks, because they really needed every single one of them there.
That they did.
But that is going to be the first win going over to Waifu Warriors in a very crazy game number 1.
What a game. They had a chance. That was the craziest thing. But
you know, they all in on one strat. If they had the Tyrael, I definitely think they could have done it. Especially if they got that sanctification off at the end.
Yeah, can you imagine?
But they didn't have the Tyrael.
Yeah, if they had laid the sanctification down at the end there, all of that damage would have been nullified. Which would have probably let them siege down the core.
All right, well, we're going to take a break to rest my vocal cords before we head into game number 2. We'll be right back. Apologies for the music cutting in and out, everyone. Apparently, YouTube just doesn't want to fucking play it right now, so apologies if it continues to skip. All right, and we are back here on the Nexus Gaming Series. Waifu Warriors up 1-0 over VGTC Dadbod in a crazy back and forth Juice Pirate game. Here on Dragonshire, will we see more Juice Pirates? Only time will tell. Joined
like
again by Foul. Foul, how do you think about that first game?
That was a pretty fun first game. I mean, I can't believe that the Juice Pirates almost won without Tyrael on that match. I think we're going to see something a little bit more standard on Dragonshire, though. I think.
Well, so this was VGTC Dadbod who picked this map. They did not pick Cursed Hollow. That was Waifu Warriors pick. Dahaka banned out, so I imagine it has to be a Phoenix ban here. But I have not seen Dahaka a lot lately. He's kind of seemed to fall out of the meta in terms of solo laners. That said, if there's a map he's good on, it is Dragonshire. He can brush stock right into the point.
Phoenix was left up, though.
Phoenix was left up. Oh my gosh, guys. Phoenix alert. Found the Phoenix alarm. OP. 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 That's what the Phoenix alarm sounds like. Blizz, please. Blizz, please nerf. He has not been nerfed yet, though. They usually do battles patches on Wednesday, so I think that's when that will come down the line. But we'll see. In the meantime, though, it's going to be very powerful on this map, and a lot of potential to... I mean, he's... People talk about his problem being that he's manaless, and I don't think that's the problem, because he really only would have 2 abilities that use mana anyway. And, like, when his third ability wouldn't use any mana, because it just changes attack, I think... The biggest thing is just his raw auto attack damage is incredibly powerful. But you go into Diablo Malfurion out of the gate,
Counter
turn
with
around.
Sonya Stukov.
Counter with Sonya Stukov. I love the Stukov here. You do a lot of 3-manning on this map, a lot of skirmishes. Stukov is amazing in 3-man skirmishes. The root potential he can bring at 13. If you have the skill to do it. It's tricky. But if you have the skill to land the 13 root, especially with a Phoenix... That person should die quickly.
Easily.
Because you're rooted and silenced.
Yeah.
For 2 seconds.
Stukov does great against Diablo 2, being able to prevent the additional follow-up on any dive that he goes into.
Couple bans being selected. Now, there isn't a tank up. So, in terms of meta tanks that are still standing, you know, the tank meta has kind of been in flux a bit at HGC level. It's been a heavy focus on Diablo Garrosh. Garrosh is going to be the ban. Still, though, it's kind of interesting. I'm not entirely sure where the warrior meta is, just because I mostly play support. But what are your thoughts now on what the best warrior remaining for the side
warrior
of
remaining
VGTC here?
That's a very good question. ETC is still up, still a generally good overall all-around tank. Combined with the silence, you know, to set up a mosh pit, be a potential pick for them. You still have, you know, the standard picks of Muradin's still up, Johanna's still up. Blaze is Well, with the Sonya, I don't know if they would want to do two bruiser-ish tanks, but it's also a possibility for them.
Yeah, I definitely would want to um see them avoid going double bruiser, especially into Diablo Malfurion.
I agree.
It is going to be a Falstad ban now.
Getting rid of those globals, huh?
The question is, do we see with the Faust? Yeah, they're just removing globals. The only global, well,
Ooh,
I was about to say the
Malthael.
only global I could think that could still work would be Abathur. There it is. This is a weird map for Abathur, though. Not to say it's bad, but just he can get a body onto the point to help cap, provided no one else is there. Now, the mines can be very useful for vision. Vision, incredibly important on this map. But I don't see Abathur a lot. It is interesting with the Malthael. I love Malthael into the Sonya in the solo lane. It's a skill matchup, and I think it's one they could win. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it definitely, I think Abathur tilts that matchup a little bit into Malthael's favor, because Abathur can give the hat at any time and do a lot more damage than Sonya's expecting. So it gives them a lot of flexibility to, bring a little bit extra
There's the
support
ETC.
into other lanes. Yep, there it is. Paired with the Greymane, a nice finisher for
I want to
once
see
Phoenix
Cassie
poking
again.
everyone down.
I want to see Cassie again. Right now.
Yeah.
Because look at their damage. Phoenix, auto attack. Sonya, auto attack. Greymane, auto attack. You have an Abathur. Abathur enables Cassia. You have a Malfurion. Malfurion enables Cassia. You have Diablo. Diablo, and I really want to see Cassie again. I think if you have Malthael in the solo lane and you have Abathur kind of picking up the extra soak that can get left behind in the rotation, I really want to see Cassie again here. I thought the Cassia play by C Parks was very good.
It was. You'll have slightly less setup this time around with only Diablo and Malfurion this time.
But you have the potential for a Cassia clone for double blind, or you have potential for a Diablo clone just to set up. There it is.
There it is. Yep.
I once again, the Abathur pick is a curveball, so I don't know how well to evaluate the draft. But just by selecting 3 auto attackers, I'm a little bit worried about VGTC. That said, they don't have a weak comp by any means. But I think they can struggle in the team fights that Cassie is at, especially if there's a Cassia clone, because they're so invested in auto attack damage. But we'll have to see here.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna have to pick a target and focus them down before Malfurion can get his sustained heals off. If they don't manage to do that in their team fights, they're gonna have a very, very bad time. But they do have, enough single target bursts, with Greymane and Sonya to just go on someone and delete them before anything starts.
There's one hole ace in the hole. Mosh meme gun. Mosh plus meme beam equals happy smiley. That is just math, and you can't argue with math. Mosh plus meme beam.
I really want to see it.
I mean, honestly, you could literally just pick someone off. If Stukov goes root and can land it, just Planet Cracker them. They die. There's no way out. You are dead. 1,000,000,000%. But we'll have to see as we head here into map number 2. On the left side, up 1-0, looking to close out 3 points is Waifu Warriors. Going to be Flame Tree once again on Diablo. Wheezy Fish going to be on Malfurion. C Parks once again on the Cassia. Biren going to be on Malthael, and Hentai Master going to be on that Abathur. Go ahead and introduce, starting at the bottom, the members of Dadbond.
All right, on the side of Dadbond, we have Sonya being played by Nielis, ETC by Orlob, we have Phoenix being played by Bloody Regime, we have Greymane being played by Banana Man 321, and Stukov is being played by Murphy.
Well, and here we go, right out of the gate now. Sonya went straight top. Into an Abathur comp, this can be a good idea because of the mines on the rotation. Already we're seeing Abathur focus putting the mines onto that Dragon Knight. I think the early mine placement could be a bit better. It's going to be a while before the Dragon Knight's actually in play. There's a Diablo stun onto Orlob and the flip. Laser coming out, trying to... Ooh, gets a bounce.
Just barely.
with about 300 HP there. Let's see how the rotation goes. We are seeing, looks like both Diablo and Malthael going top, whereas Wheezy Fish Sea Park's heading bottom.
Leaving Abathur to do the mid lane. Interesting.
Yeah, now we are seeing that Q build coming out from Phoenix. Pretty powerful build if you can build the stacks early. It is going to be the 4-man rotation, but trying to abuse the 4-man rotation by keeping 2 people in the top lane. It's an interesting strategy, and with the Abathur, once again, you can pick up the soak that looks like you might be missing. So they're trying to do this 2-1-2 pressure and just really pressure the flanks, and with the Abathur, ETC needing to stay mid to keep the soak up. But already much better camping. Banana Man already grabbing the camp for Siege. That's definitely going to give an advantage here in this bottom lane to the members of VGTC.
Yep, Cassia should be able to clean that up pretty quickly, but it's going to keep them off of that bottom point for the Dragon Knights. You see is hovering between. Doesn't think he needs to go down at all yet.
No.
Oh, but true. I mean, they're not going to be able to shout much on that bot lane.
Yeah, now they are heavily pushing this bot lane. I like this. Try to get an early advantage. Try to get fort walls down. By getting fort walls down, you make it harder for Abathur to body soak. That way he can actually get double soak value. But they need to be a bit careful. Diablo's starting to rotate down. Murphy, a little bit late getting out here. Could get charged. Nope, Diablo gonna think better of it. Meanwhile, though, a lot of mid soak here missed by the red team. Orlob thinking about going up to soak it, but comes back down the bottom. They want to focus this fight on the bottom. Meanwhile, Malthael fighting with Sonya solo in the top. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But in comes Diablo. But a huge silence with the meme. Malfurion is so low, getting the regrowth on himself. Big Moonfire, gonna be able to save himself. And Greymane dives a little bit too far. Oh, but he has the eyes in the dark. He's down. Oh, he gets away. Eyes in the dark value. My goodness.
That blind saved Malfurion's life. The blind hit Phoenix, and the last auto attacks did not connect. So,
yeah,
great
but
teamwork there.
Really 2 good saves. Oh, but there's a root followed up by a silence, preventing Cassia from fending there. But this is going to be the bottom shrine, and now Abathur could actually burrow in. There is no one middle to interrupt this. Is Abathur, in fact, going to do that?
Yep.
So many minds. What is... The memes, though. If someone actually dies to that, my goodness, the memes. Oh no, ETC in a little bit of trouble. The sign's coming out. There's a big power slide. Now Orlob gonna have to walk away. This shrine is still viable, though. Greymane now having to rotate mid. Greymane could interrupt the point, but Abathur could actually bait Greymane onto those mines. Now setting up mines in that rotation bush. Meanwhile, though, Biren doing well against this Sonya up in the top lane in the skill matchup. As we turn our attention back to the 3v3. Good flip attempt. Didn't get the charge off before ETC got the power slide. Orlob gonna be able to get out of there. But experience pretty even so far. Now Cassia finally moving to do the Siege Giants there in the bot lane. So could generate some extra pressure while Greymane continues the soak here in mid and start to pressure against his Abathur.
Yeah, they've been doing a really good job of keeping the minion soak even. In fact, they're slightly ahead on the red side. I don't know if Abathur is actually in body soak range of the mid lane, so they might actually be missing a couple waves.
No, he's been picking it up though with the hat. He hasn't body soaked that I'm aware. Maybe a couple bits here and there, but for the most part, it's been his hat soak. Meanwhile, though, Cassia did grab the Siege Giant, but in order to do that, they had to give up bottom temporarily. Now, Malthael beating Sonya up in this top lane, but it is a 4v3, 3.5 throwing an Abahat. So this does give an advantage, especially with that one good spread, to the Stukov comp. Stukov can effectively be a mana-less healer with that one good spread when you're in the 4-man like this.
Abathur is going the Carapace and Meal build, it looks like, so not focusing on mines.
Now,
interesting to note.
One thing I want to note up into the top, and this is just for Sonya later, one of the things you can do is you actually can back up.
Phoenix just got, Phoenix got taken out by Cassia real fast. A lot faster than he was expecting. It looked like his shields didn't have time to regenerate before Cassia decided to just stab him.
Yeah, T-Tor's there on that. But one of the things I want to point out to Sonya is what you can do here into the Malthael if you're getting pressured, let the minions walk up to the wall, but make sure to step up before the ranged minions target the towers. Let the melee minions target the towers. They don't do any damage. Just focus on those ranged minions. Those are the ones you need to kill to prevent any tower damage, and that'll help you out. Banana Man, very low, gonna have to back up. Phoenix now gonna be responsible for the channel. Phoenix actually destroying all of those mines that Abathur has set down.
He worked so hard on that, too.
Yeah, it's a little bit memeish, though. I would like to see a lot more mines like we're seeing here to stop rotations, or at least to get vision. But then again, there haven't been a ton of rotations by either team here.
Yeah, it's been very static, and, you know, the lane assignments haven't changed up that much.
Now, ETC grabbing the bot point. Siege Camp is up for the side of VGTC, but because of that Abathur soak, there's a and there's a flip on the Stukov, but a huge power slide that saved Stukov's life 1,000,000,000% there.
Nice
Ooh,
work
and
there.
that is risky. Wizen Duelist being picked up by Grey
Abathur's
Man.
going for the Dragon Knight right now. And you think he's gonna
Abathur
get
is
it.
finally going for it. He is going to pick it up.
Yep, he had vision of all 4
Yep.
people in bot lane and just ran out to it.
And could easily take this wall. With only one cannon with the minions pushed up, this wall could drop pretty quick, but gotta be cognizant of just how much Phoenix can melt the Dragonite. Want to make sure you get some value. Meanwhile, Stukov finishing up that soak in the bottom. Still no level 10s. We do once again see Valkyrie. It is Last Rites, Twilight Dream, and Apoc. Abathur not picking a level 10 yet, being in the Dragonite. I would expect clone. But you never know.
I would expect so too.
I have seen Monstrosity get some degree of value on this map, but I like this decision, just getting the walls with the first Dragonite. Not trying to get forts, get the walls, get that experience lead up to a level, which they've done. Now, Diablo has actually just finished his souls, so souls are up for Diablo for the time being. Meanwhile, Cassia moving, going to clear the mid lane.
Ultimate Evolution is picked up by Abathur as he exits
There it is.
Dragon Knight.
Now, it is Mosh Pit, Wrath of the Berserker. It is Go for the Throat, and it's Flail Swipe. No ultimate picked yet by Phoenix. Now, if you want to go value, you need to get the slow, you need to get slow talents, which Stukov has. If you went Face Smelt at 13 onto ETC, it would be a lot of potential for Phoenix to get value off the slow. He didn't entirely go the slowing build. Well, he did. He has the slow on basic attack. Just interesting to see Warfare picked up. So far, no 10. Ooh, and they're moving into this bottom bruiser camp. And if this gets scouted out... Oh no, Greymane's not there, so there isn't enough damage to really fight, even with the meme beam. But
it looks like they're choosing to push in with that top camp.
it is the salvo, and I actually respect that choice. I think that's the safer play here, especially when you can go Face Smelt at 13.
Yeah, I mean, also with Stukov, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, you should, if Stukov is hitting his weighted plus tools, get a large amount of value out of that.
Yeah, and then, you know, he also can proc his own slows. There's a lot of options here. But decent pressure up on the top, but only really secured one tower with his Greymane now rotating away to pick up this mid soak. Level 13's now picked up on the side of Waifu. Waifu still a bit in control in this game. Certainly have a macro advantage at the moment as they're picking up their bruiser camp. No real value with the bruiser camp up in that top lane other than the one cannon tower. Sonya going to have to deal with it up in the top, though, for the time being. But let's kind of see where the rotation goes. It looks like we might see a focus rotating up towards this top to take out the Mathiel.
I appreciate the mine bush, but it would have been helpful to have some other mines in other bushes to scout out this rotation.
Yeah, and 5-man in the top, though, so no one's soaking the alternative lanes. So they're definitely committing to one side, but once again, this was a decision they made at some point in the last game where they hard committed to soaking or pushing one lane, and they missed a lot of soak in the process. Here they're missing mid and bottom soak, and bottom soak could very well do a lot of damage to this fort. But they definitely want to open up a win condition. This is how they're going to choose to do it.
And we see the response. Diablo is coming in for the flank. Thinking about it.
There is the slow. He does get the stun onto the Greymane, who gets out a bit late, and actually Valkyrie actually going to interrupt with the APOC, and members are just dropping. Down goes Phoenix. Sonya gonna fall to the last rites. Quest stacks, boys. Orlob might be able to get out of this, but man, everyone died so fast. Well, Greymane died really fast. Phoenix died really fast.
Very nice Valkyrie by Cassia to interrupt the mosh pit.
And yeah, just a little bit of a miscommunication. Greymane mounting up without the rest of the team there, and it is going to give, once again, a Dragon Knight over to the side of Waifu, who are now easily going to take this mid fort as trying to soak, but down now 2 levels. They gave up basically a level for that whole exchange on top of already being down a level. Here we go.
Not much more to add as the Dragon Knight sieges down mid lane. Looks like they're going to go up to top to finish up that fort that they got some damage on earlier.
I would so prioritize bottom here, though. And the reason is that, how do you win on top? It's
really.
This bridge has a nickname, which I believe has its origins in Monty Python. And it is the Bridge of Death. And they are on the Bridge of Death into a Stukov ETC Phoenix. And Mosh Pit, I believe... No, Mosh Pit wouldn't be up yet.
No, it needs a few more. I think it needs another minute or so.
Yeah.
Hard to tell without the...
Blizz, please fix obs. Blizz, please.
Stukov did not go for the roots at 13. He went instead for lingering, lingering spines. So the silence will persist, but he doesn't get any rooting ability from that.
Well, so I can respect that, though, on the basis that it really is a skill shot that you have to practice. It took me dozens of games of forcing myself to pick that ult before I got comfortable with it. It's not trivial to hit.
Nope.
Ooh, but Stukov, he actually got charged there. If he got flipped, that could have been dead. Maybe flip was not off cooldown. But
yeah, not sure.
Good steal with the 5-man aggression. I count Abathur Hat as a 5th man in that context. And this could allow a lot of damage onto this bot fort, but they also could have killed bot fort a while ago, so, you know. They got some value top, I guess, but Bridge of Death is Bridge of Death.
Yep, Waifu's just proceeding to, you know, take all the camps that they can. Going now for the bottom night camp.
Yep, taking bottom night camp here. No one on the side of Dadbot. Gonna scout this out. And this is actually 15 into 17. ETC power sliding away. Gets a good stun, but there's a charge. Greymane once again a target. There's the face melt. And that was Encore picked rather than face melt. The slow talent. Stukov getting separated a bit. Encore actually didn't help out too much there. And now Last Right's gonna claim ETC. Things are just starting to fall apart here for Dadbot. Waifu Warrior, you know, playing this pretty well at the moment. As the Abathur clone was used on Diablo to get that extra CC. That was actually how they managed to kill Stukov.
That allowed them to basically just pick Stukov up and just keep him.
Ooh, there's a Valkyrie on the Phoenix. The Valkyries have just been so good. I mean, they have been devastating by Sea Parks. He has played this just so well.
I don't know if he's missed one that I've seen. They've all seemed to have gotten value or picked someone out.
And here we go. Are they going to move on to the core? Phoenix is dead for 20. No, they're not going to do it. Not without the ultimate evolution. I respect that choice.
Yep. Looks like Abathur's going to go ahead and capture the top
Ooh,
shrine.
and Cassie's already moving to mid. Everyone else moving to bottom. This is going to be a free Dragon Knight because there's just no way they're going to get there in time. Assuming Cassia moves to the point to... Cassia could be on the point channeling right now. Still going to get it. But nitpicks. I agree, Cross Knights LP. This game is brutal. But they're going to move straight bottom, go straight for core with this
They're
DK.
trying to end. They're going to pick up 20 along the way, probably?
No, I don't think they're going to pick up 20 unless they turn their attention to the mid keep first. And usually when you make this aggressive move, you're not going to do that. I would have liked to have seen them try to soak 20, maybe off just a mid-keep tower. But they're not going to do it. They're just going to move straight in. Now, that was a very early flailing swipe use. 20 is almost there, though, now. So they could insta-lock. There's the APOC. Orlob sliding out of that as Malthael jumps in. But they're not really focusing the core. There's ETC jumping in. Twilight Dream used by Wheezyfish to secure the kill onto ETC. Wheezyfish a little bit low, just trying to keep people up. Here comes the salvo. Ice block used for Wheezyfish to save himself. Diablo going to go down. Bloody Regime is very low. The core is down to 15. Core is down to 10, 5, touchdown. Waifu Warrior going to take this series in a 2-0 victory. Very strong play by them in game number 2. Very dominant map control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was real nice. It looked like they were focusing on Dad Bod's heroes to allow the Dragon Knight to get free damage on the core. It was a little close, but
Yeah, and
got it
just
in
not...
the end.
Phoenix wasn't really able to get out the hero damage. In fact, Stukov actually led hero
He was
damage
the most, yeah.
that last game, and I think that just speaks to the aggression. You know, they didn't get involved in a lot of team fights, but the team fights they got involved in on the side of Waifu Warrior were just devastating. I mean, absolutely devastating.
And I think Cassia landed quite a large number of blinds on Phoenix in this game, so it was like he couldn't even do that as much damage as he wanted to, even when he was in the fight.
Whoops. And we're gonna actually let me switch to this view here. I'm gonna try to get my Discord back up. We're gonna see if we can get a couple members of Waifu Warriors in. So give us 1 sec. We'll actually be right back. We're gonna take a brief pause.
And we got another.
And we are back.
Hey.
Well, so I just want a couple members, so 2, just because if there's more than 2, it can get out of control quick.
Okay. Get out of here, Bradley. All right.
But
Rip.
so I'm joined by 2 members of, excuse me, you don't want to see my Hero League rank, the Waifu Warriors. Congrats on the win, guys. 2-0 victory, starting the season strong with the 3 points. How do you feel?
All I can say. Sorry, you go ahead.
I mean, it's definitely like a rush, I guess you would say. You know, it's nice to finally join a league when, you know, just a group of friends wants to get together and play the game. So, you know, it's nice to kind of get this competitive feel, and you know, it feels great coming off of a pretty interesting match. You know, we almost got cheese the first game.
You know,
But-
let's walk through that first game. So you saw Sylvanas Morales out of the gate. Now, granted, I'm biased because I just casted this kind of Morales cheese last night, but you did immediately grab Falstad. Were you expecting that medevac cheese and then wanted the Mighty Gust?
Absolutely, yeah. We grabbed Falstad for multiple reasons. One, because the global would be nice versus the Sylvanas just in general. Like, let's say they're not going cheese, you know. So that'd be great. But then the Gust is nice because that way it buys time for the rest of the team to back if need be. So
I just also thought it was neat. Oh, sorry.
No, go
I just
ahead.
thought it was neat to know how like we actually just watched that, like the match the day before. Like we just watched that like an hour before the matches. So like we already knew what they were gonna pull. It was funny.
That is interesting. I liked what you guys had to disarm it. You had the Mighty Gust. You had the Twilight Dream. You know, I just want to give Parks. I think both Fallon. I just want to compliment you on your Cassia play in both games.
yeah. I mean, it feels bad because like I feel like a Cassia one trick now. When like I touched Cassia for the first time in like probably a couple months last night.
Right.
So
Well, he touched it twice tonight and made the Valkyrie plays were just fantastic. I mean, they were so on point. That fend at the end to stop the core cheese. It was a 3v5. Malfurion with the root Twilight Dream to set up the fend. I mean, fend just obliterated everything. Everything died. People died in other games, and they're like, "What the hell is going on?" And it was just because of that fend. But my goodness, it was just you know, it was you guys dominated that map and actually reacted very well to that cheese. You know, certainly better than we saw in that game I casted last night. Again, I think just the anticipation and the draft really helped you specifically with that. Take us to game number 2. So Dragonshire, that was not your map pick. You guys picked Cursed Hollow.
No, we picked Dragonshire.
You did?
Yep.
Oh, yes, right. Yeah, I
did.
gave. They had first pick on that map. Yeah, that's right. Okay, sorry. For some reason, I thought I gave Team 2 first pick on Cursed Hollow. No, I didn't. So okay, so you picked Dragonshire. Is that a map that you've been running a lot of Abathur on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've run a decent bit of Abathur on it.
So normally Abathur can kind of be hit and miss on that map. He does have the ability to get a body onto the point quickly if it's uncontested, but at the same time, like, you need a physical body on the point, and if it's at all contested, he can't really do much. One of the things I wanted to ask was about the mine placement. There was a lot of mine placement kind of in clumps looking to do damage, and I don't want to be too critical, but
Go ahead.
well, one of the things you normally see with an Abathur, especially on that map, is Abathur is the scout. So you spread your mines out on the traversal lanes. But there it seemed that it was being used as a way to really chunk one person down who rotated. But you're kind of putting all your eggs in one basket, and it took a while before you really paid off there. Is there any... Has that worked in scrims and they just maybe didn't move as you expected? Or I'm just kind of curious what justified that.
Yeah, like there were a few games where that usually did something where someone was rotating down and they were unsuspecting and they just get like half their health taken away, and so because of that it made a future team fight easier. But I do admit I probably should have adapted more and just put mines all around the map to be able to see everything and all. So
all right, and with that, we did see the Diablo clone, which allowed a great engage. I just want to say, I mean, you guys, when you engaged on that map, you engaged hard. It was scary.
Terrifying, you know?
Yeah, it was
Two Lords of Terror.
two Lords of Terror, twice as scary as one. But no, it was a very strong play. One thing I did want to ask, and again, maybe this comes across as nitpicky smiley, but you did take the Dragonite to top lane over bot lane, kind of in the middle of the game. I wanted to know, like, why you prioritized top fort over the bottom fort, just given the map.
I mean, it was probably more of a split second decision rather than thought out. From other things I like to do on that map, I kind of realized that little bridge on top makes it so that it's a little iffy to attempt to take that keep and just get experience from that lane in general. So I figured that if I can grab the DK and then put it top, it gives us a better chance of being able to take that keep, which usually people don't get to pick, which, I mean, then you could make the argument that it's probably just not worth it. But it probably was more of a misplay, and I was just at the point, like, I was like, well, I don't really want to dive keep with this because I don't think that's going to work out. So might as well just grab a wall and grab some experience.
All right. Any questions for them, Fal?
No, I mean, they played great. I really like the Abathur choice worked out, and I really appreciate your clone targets. The double Diablo to pick Stukov at the end was incredible.
yeah.
So I think going forwards, teams are going to have to watch out for you guys, just both in terms of draft and also execution. Played really well as a team.
Nope, I'm looking forward to watching you guys. I'm putting you on my list of teams I want to cast again. But congratulations on the win. Best of luck this season, and thanks. Go ahead and give any shout outs if you want.
Subscribe to the Shrubs.
Okay, no.
It's a channel in front of ours. It's not important. It's just a goof.
I don't know. I guess just shout out to our team. We played fairly well. We definitely struggled a little bit before season started, which kind of made us feel a little uneasy about it. But we played well. Shout out to the probably 2 friends we had watching.
Yeah,
we
There's
really
actually
appreciate.
22 people watching at the moment.
Yeah, you guys had a crowd.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think it was up to like 24, maybe.
I think I saw 20. Yeah, I saw high 20s.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the game, so I couldn't tell you. You were stream sniping, obviously.
Who was?
Oh no, was that Foul saying that? I wasn't actually
was me.
looking.
That
Oh,
was
okay.
me.
No.
Yeah.
Of course he was stream
I'm
sniping.
a
He was
stream sniper.
he was on the
I was
stream.
stream.
No. Yeah, but anyway, well, thanks again. Best luck this season. Foul, you're going to join me here in about 29 minutes. We
will
have
indeed.
some Division C action. Kicking it up a bit, we got Team Awesome Sauce versus veteran returning team FNL Esports. Looking forward to that. First veteran team I casted this season, so really looking forward to see how they've improved in the off season. But with everyone else, we'll be right back. We'll see you then. Stay tuned here. Or just come back in a half hour. One of the two. I don't really care. I'm not running ads. I don't expect to make money from this. I just have an ego problem. And that's why I need you to sate my ego. We'll be right back.